Programming alert. We got something new coming for you guys. If you love the Wiltfong Whip Round, if you love the Inside Scoop, then you're going to love Simmons Scoop. That's right. Director of Recruiting at On3, Chad Simmons, is going to be here with me every Thursday moving forward, and we're just going to pick his brain for the latest, greatest intel coming from across the country. You're going to love it. I promise. Today, we are focused on Alabama recruiting. There could be two big-time targets coming off the board in the Tide's direction. We're also going to go to the state of Georgia, where the Dogs are trending for some of the best in the Peach State. Get ready. Here we come. Let's talk some Alabama recruiting. The Tide's 2026 class only has one commitment, and it's a good one. Top 100 corner Zion Gibson made his pledge really before the new year even began. But right now, it feels like Kalen DeBoer and his staff are about to go on a run. So we got Director of Recruiting here at On3, Chad Simmons. We're going to break down some Alabama recruiting. But first, Tide fans, do me a favor. Hit subscribe to the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube, the On3 Recruits channel. All right, let's bring in Director of Recruiting Chad Simmons. And Chad, if Bama is going to get it going, it looks like the spark is going to come from the state of Georgia. We got a couple commitments coming up. We're going to start with offensive lineman Bear McWhorter, and he is from Cartersville, Georgia, 6'3", 308, but there's some competition here from Michigan and Clemson. So how do you view this recruitment, and when do you think he's going to make that decision?
Yeah, he set the date for February 28th. So obviously he said that's not a special day, nothing really big about that. He just wants to get it done. He's a one-time Arkansas commit, big-time offensive lineman in Northwest Georgia, and a guy that's been around since his freshman year, taking a lot of trips, been all over the country, has all the offers that he wants. His dad played at Furman. He knows the game, he knows about recruiting. His dad played with Billy Napier at the University of Florida there, the head coach there. So he has Florida in that top five as well. But right now, I think for me, I'm hearing the most about two, maybe three schools. And we'll start with Alabama as one. He grew up a fan of Alabama. He's close with Coach Cap, the offensive line coach. He was there just a few weeks ago back in Tuscaloosa, knows about the program, the track record, and kind of what they're doing there under Coach DeBoer and what the plan is. He likes all of that about Alabama. Then you have Michigan. We know that they are run by a head coach that's known for his offensive line development, and Sharon Moore. He loves Coach Newsom as well, the O-line coach in Ann Arbor. He's been there multiple times as well. He likes the academics, the football, the combination there as a program. And then one not to sleep on as well is South Carolina. His mom's from Columbia. He has family back in that state still, knows all about the Gamecocks, that program, Shane Beamer. They love to recruit the Peach State. But right now, I think it's Alabama and Michigan battling there for Bear McWhorter at the top two spots.
So he's going to come off the board in less than a month. You got a prediction in on him yet?
No, I think it's a little close. I mean, look, man, Bama's had some buzz there, no doubt about that, since he announced that commitment day. But I still think Michigan is right there. Again, don't sleep on South Carolina. But I would say Bama, Michigan right there at the top.
Let's head down to Marietta, Georgia, where cornerback Jordan Edmonds is also on the verge of making a decision. He's the number 99 ranked prospect in the country. Bama heavily involved in this one, but there's some competition. And also, when does he come off the board?
Yeah, a little sooner than Bear McWhorter, February 19th. So next week, he'll come off the board, Josh. I mean, his plan is that's his birthday. He's kind of always thought about in the back of his mind, if he feels somewhat ready to make that decision, let's do it on the birthday, have a big celebration and commit to a school and all that. So his mom's on board, he's on board, still working, I think, to finalize things there. But I'm hearing the most there about Alabama and Georgia. Other schools are in the mix as well with Tennessee and some other programs. But he's been to Bama 4 or 5 times. He's close with Mo Lundquist, the DB coach there. He's been in Tuscaloosa as far as game day, for camp. He knows about that staff, what they're about, what the program does day to day. And he was at Georgia as well last month, in-state school for him, less than an hour from home, Marietta to Athens, Georgia. So knows that staff. Dante Williams, Kirby Smart, knows people there, knows players there. I think those are the two to watch that we're watching closely here heading into next week.
So there's a chance that Alabama could end up with two really good prospects out of the state of Georgia by the time February's over?
Yeah, I mean, they have a real shot. I feel a little bit better about Bama's chances today with Edmonds. I think there's a little bit more of a fight, still work to be done there with both, obviously, but more maybe with McWhorter than Edmonds. I do have a prediction in for Bama with Edmonds as of right now.
All right, Bama fans, how do you feel about this? Do you agree with what Chad's saying? Let us know. Comment section below. Let's talk a little Georgia recruiting. The Bulldogs currently have the 10th ranked class in the country, but we know they won't be at number 10 for long. They are pushing for top 5, maybe number 1 class in 2026. All right, so we're going to break down some of the top prospects in the state of Georgia with On3 Director of Recruiting Chad Simmons. And, you know, we talk a lot on this channel about Tyler Atkinson, the number 1 player in the state of Georgia, the number 1 linebacker. But today, we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the Peach State because there's some really good prospects that the Dogs are trending for right now in state. So let's bring in Chad Simmons. And Chad, we're going to start at Buford High School with athlete Tyreek Green, the number 8 ranked athlete in the country. What's going on between him and Georgia right now?
You know, I say a lot, Josh. I mean, they're obviously a local program that he's been to, countless times. He's very familiar with the program, the city, the community. Obviously, the staff, Travaris Robinson, Kirby Smart. I mean, KJ Bolden starting for safety right here this year as a true freshman from Buford High School. So that connection as well. And I think Georgia is probably trending, right now for Tyreek. He likes schools like Ohio State, USC, Auburn, Florida State, some other programs for sure. And I do think he'll get to OVs before he makes that decision. But right now, it looks like to me, Georgia is the team to beat.
Let's head over to Moultrie, Georgia, where 5'11", 205-pound running back Jay Lamar recently told you that the Dogs lead. Now, he's the number 8 running back in America. I'm sure there's some competition. Who do the Dogs got to fight off for Lamar?
Yeah, I think you have to start with the neighboring state, Auburn University. I think they're known for recruiting the Peach State very well. And he's been over there in January, got a great, read of kind of Auburn. They're playing what they want to do with him in the backfield, who they're bringing in to play with a guy like Deuce Knight at quarterback and the weapons around him at receiver. And he was very receptive to that. I think Auburn is definitely one. Miami he went to as well here recently, and they made a very good first impression down there in South Florida in Coral Gables. They'll get an OV from him as Auburn will. And then you go back to Georgia. He just keeps going back to Georgia. They love to recruit South Georgia athletes. He has a great connection with Josh Crawford, the running backs coach at Georgia. He used to coach high school ball in South Georgia. And look, he's just comfortable with the staff. They got on him early. I think September, I want to say in the fall, Georgia offered him. He's been there multiple times, probably feels the most comfortable in Athens from a college town standpoint with the people. He knows them the best right now. Look, there's plenty of time for other schools to make up their ground, but right now they're all chasing University of Georgia.
All right, let's move over to Bowden, Georgia, where the number 3 tight end in the country, Caden Prothro, he's ranked number 32 overall. So right now, if the rankings were finalized, he would be a 5-star. Can Georgia hold on? Can Georgia keep the next great tight end in state?
Look, it won't be easy. I mean, obviously, Georgia kind of sells itself as an in-state program. The way they use the tight ends obviously appeals to a guy like Prothro as well. And their development and putting guys like Brock Bowers first round into the league, they have a lot going for them, no doubt. But when you're going up against guys like Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Texas, and Texas is the wild card. And they use a tight end as well. And he hasn't been to Texas yet. He's been to Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and Georgia. He set up an OV to Texas as well in June. He'll try to get there in the spring. They're kind of the unknown right now. I mean, he's been to all the other schools. Georgia right now is in a good spot. But look, they're not the clear-cut leader or front runner, I don't think, for a guy like Prothro. I think Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia are 3 schools I hear the most about. Right now, Georgia's been there around 10 times. He has the best maybe relationships with the staff there, with Todd Hartley, Kirby Smart, guys in that room. He knows the most about Georgia. But look, no pun intended, it will be a dogfight, for Caden Prothro. He's an elite talent, drawing national interest, and he'll take all 5 OVs before he makes that decision.
All right, let's head over to Carrollton, Georgia, where we find athlete Ryan Mosley, number 14 ranked athlete in the country. And you recently spoke to him, and it sounds like Georgia's trending here.
Yeah, I like their spot. He's been a kid that's kind of been up and down on kind of number one, when he wanted to commit, and number 2, who he wanted to commit to at different times over the last, I would say, what, 5, 6 months. I've had different stories prepared for Ryan for commitment, top schools, and things like that. And here we are now. He hasn't committed and he hasn't named top schools. So, like, look, he's a big time recruit that schools talk to every day. So a lot gets thrown at him.
Right.
But one consistent's been the University of Georgia. He was back there early in January. Had a great time. He's being recruited now by James Coley on the offensive side, Travaris Robinson on the defensive side, and then Kirby Smart as the head coach. He's a versatile kid. I think he starts at receiver first, but Georgia also sees him as a big-time defensive talent as well. So he can basically go to Georgia and play wherever he wants, offense or defense. But the connection's there. He loves the staff. He's been there around half a dozen times. He knows the people. Again, in-state school, easy to get to. They've made him a priority. So Georgia, yes, I think they're in a very good spot right now. Keep an eye on South Carolina. They've been in this from the beginning. He's been to Columbia numerous times, including multiple games this past season. Nebraska had him on campus on February 1st. He's been to Texas A&M multiple times. He'll take OVs to those 4 schools. But right now, if I had to say a school that's setting the pace in his recruitment, it starts with Georgia.
Do you think he ends up playing on the defensive side of the ball on the next level?
I mean, look, I think he sees the opportunity. I think obviously he likes offense first. I mean, he says he's open to playing whatever, but I think he likes scoring touchdowns. He's a 6'2" kid that gets good separation, very good ball skills. That can all translate great to the safety position, but right now I think he wants to start probably at wide receiver first.
All right. So we're looking at 4 big-time names from the state of Georgia that are all trending to Georgia. Who do you think could be the first name to come off this board to the Dogs?
Man, that's a tough one. I would say if I had to pick one, maybe Tyreek Green. We started with him. Look, all these guys right now, so they're taking OVs first.
Right.
That doesn't mean you can't commit and still take OVs, come May, June. So I think, Tyreek's been a kid that's kind of hinted that he could commit when he feels ready. But look, again, like I said, Ryan Mosley has said on multiple times, hey, I'm getting close. He's held off, taken a step back. Could that change again? Very possible. But right now, if I had to pick one, I would say Tyreek Green's one to watch.
All right, Georgia fans, talk to Chad and I. Who do you feel good about? Who on this list really fires you up? Let us know. Comment section below.